me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
I want somebody that's hungry, that is really motivated and willing to do whatever they need to do to help out the team. Too often you go into a situation where someone's called an aquatics coordinator or a recreation coordinator or a maintenance. You really have to develop a team that's willing to just be a team. And no matter what you do, you really get paid the same. And so to develop that partnership, that relationship in between that group.
All right, we are live again. This is Craig LeBlanc, the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series. It's 12 noon every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I have somebody that's part of our Young Professionals Network, just started in Parks and Rec. No, just joking. He's been around for quite some time and has had a great career. So how are you doing today, Ken? Good.
Excited to be here and I've enjoyed your recent episodes.
Yeah. We've had some great episodes this week. I mean, it's y'all. Really, I just get to turn on the mic and y'all stories are just amazing. But so before we get started, we're going to play a little promotion for one of our big sponsors, Outdoor Link. And we're actually creating some content with them on how Parks and Rec are becoming smart cities. They can make a city to where you can turn the whole city off and on, everything, water fountains, lights, you name it, with like the flip of a cell phone or iPad or something, which makes, managing your park much simpler. So we'll play a little promotion for them. And then if you would like to connect with them, hit me up on LinkedIn and I'll get you in touch with the right person because they got reps all over the country. And then after that, I'll play our little promotion about how other vendors can help us to create this media company for Parks and Rec. And then we'll come back and start our conversation with Ken.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly. From lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. And even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens, all from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product? Growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right. So back with Ken, Ken Wilson. So now you're new to, you're not new to Texas, are you? You're just new to New Braunfels, right?
No, yeah, well, kind of new to New Braunfels. You know, I spent 10 years here, and then
Oh yeah.
that's when I went to Alaska. But yeah, I've spent my entire career here in New well, not New Braunfels, but in Texas. So I kind
Okay.
of jumped around from a small town to a big town over the course of 30 years. So
Now, what part of Texas did you grow up in?
I grew up in Miles City, Montana. So
Oh, okay. Man, you're I think you took the big state tour of the country, like the three biggest states.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, there's not a lot of jobs up in Montana, and so I was going to school, and then ended up writing letters to a girl here in Texas, and then we ended up getting married. So
Yeah. The girls always bring you home to
yeah,
their home, back to their house. Now, did I remember this correct? Would you ever I know you're surrounded by the cattle industry, but were you ever involved in that as a kid or family or anything like that?
yeah. Before I actually I worked on a big ranch where probably a 1,500 cow calf pair operation where we
Wow.
ran heifers and cow calf pair operation, and so yeah, we ultrasound AI'd, sex and dated all the heifers, and
Yeah.
and it's pretty interesting. You know, you got a good dose of being a cowboy back in the day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much genetics plays in raising cattle. But I mean, you're almost like a master of genetics, knowing the lineage, and that's just how you kind of dial your herd in.
Yeah.
Trying to maybe you can say a little bit about that. My father was in cattle as well. They only had like 150 head, 1,500. Gosh, that's huge. How did y'all manage all that?
Well, I mean, it was a big operation. It was owned by brothers, and I was the only hired hand, and so um, you just you just pay attention throughout, depending on with the heifers we would breed all Black Angus, so that and we would look for low birth weight bulls to help us make sure those heifers don't have any trouble during calving season, and by AI and ultrasounding them, we'd be able to sex and date them, and so we'd calve them out in a 30-day window, and anything else we just sold that didn't fall in that window. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, maybe give people what it's like in a day in the life of working on a cattle ranch. What does that look like for, one week?
Well, I mean, it's not as hard as you might think, especially in the winter months. You'll get up and you'll feed your protein, and you'll bring cubes out to the herd, and then you'll grind hay, and then you end up in the coffee shop, which is a local store that everybody kind of has a book they write into, where that's their log of what they owe at the end of the month. So it's pretty neat operation. A small town. Just worked for a great family out there, the Rump Ranch out there in Biddle, Montana. So it's out in the middle of nowhere. So.
Man, is it still running today, or are they kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. They've split, so all the brothers run separate herds now, but yeah, they're there. We were there. I was there last spring to help them brand and set everything out to pasture. So
Yeah, it seems like with that series Yellowstone, everybody kind of got a window into it. Of course, that was kind of like a crime family that ran a.
yeah. This isn't a very rowdy bunch. There's no no train stations in.
Right. Take it to the train station.
Yeah.
Man, and so how old were you when you did that?
So I right after I got out of the military. So I got out of the military in 92. So I was probably 25, 26, 27 years old, and did that for a few years, and ended up becoming real close with the family, and we visit all the time now, and so yeah, it's I guess I'd done it all along, on and off, going through high school and stuff like that, when we were throwing hay and doing different things. So
Yeah. I know that I've got several cattle ranches, close friends of mine. It's where I get all my beef. I get it from the guy that raises the cows.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the best place to get it, at a farmer's market if you can.
For sure.
I'm always amazed at the different backgrounds, the colorful backgrounds of people that find themselves in Parks and Rec, but this has got to be one of the more unique ones. How in the world did you go from, military cattle ranching to Parks and Rec?
Well, I always wanted to be a high school football coach, teacher coach, and so I was going to school while I was in the military, and then once I got out, and I ended up coaching my son's soccer team and just volunteer for the local Parks and Recreation department, and I was heavily I was a very passionate parent, I guess, and wanted to make sure that the kids had quality fields to play on and things like that. And I knew, just from my background, growing wheat and hay and things like that, I had some idea of agronomy, and so I just took care of fields, drug baseball fields, and mowed for them just on a volunteer basis. And I was still going to school at the time, and they ended up, the director had left. It was small town, Texas, Dublin, Texas, where the original Dublin Dr. Pepper was created, and ended up, they asked me to be the director of Parks and Rec. And so that was my first job, was the director of Parks and Rec in a town of about 1,500.
Wow. So you went from coach, kind of knowing about the how to grow grass, and which is a constant war against Mother Nature, trying to keep a good field.
Sure.
I'm imagining working with the cattle, and you're really working with Mother Nature and all this kind of stuff. That's got to lend itself to just keeping a good baseball field, working with the dirt, working with irrigation, working with the grass and the weed, pesticides, fertilizers. I mean, you're kind of somewhat familiar with that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And then the military helped, with just some leadership skills and how to build a good team, and so that kind of lent itself to me becoming the director in that town, and then I dipped my foot into aquatics and everything else that is Parks and Rec related with special events and stuff like that. And so,
now, what'd you do in the military? What branch? And
I was in the Army. I was a 19 Delta Cav Scout, so reconnaissance mainly. So,
yeah. Did you ever deploy, or?
I was in Germany during the fall of the wall, so we did roll out to the LD from time to time, Atlanta departure, but we never did get deployed. We did do a short deployment in Dhahran during the first Gulf War. But it was just an offload ship. It was a detail, and we were inactivating the Big Red One to go back to Fort Riley from Göppingen, Germany. So
yeah. I don't know if you know, but this past Tuesday was our first episode. It's the only episode we're going to have in December, but every Tuesday starting in January, we're going to have a show dedicated every week to the military rec show. It's called On the Front Line.
Right.
And so we've actually, I'm shocked, we do have a lot of people that end up in Parks and Rec or park rangers and stuff that have a military background. Maybe you can speak a little bit about your exposure to Parks and Rec in the military.
Yeah, so they definitely, the MWR, they handle all our stuff pre-deployment. So they'll I guess establish a way before, make sure that you have plenty of activities and different things prior to deployment, and make sure there's resources available to those dependents that are with you back in the rear while you are deployed. So whether it's just deploying on a training mission or anything like that, they always make sure that they offer up just a plethora of recreational opportunities for all those families, dependent families that are on base, and then even if they go so far as to get into trips and different things like that. I mean, they will I mean, when I was in Germany, we went to Lorette de Mar, Spain, on an MWR trip that was just amazing, you know. So they have a lot of just resources for those families that are going through some difficult times when soldiers are deployed and when they come back, to make sure there's plenty of recreational opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. And for those that don't know, pretty much a military base is a self-contained city with pretty much everything it needs. And one of the things on that is MWR is pretty much the Parks and Rec department on base, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And they run all the programming for like after-school care, kids, sports, aquatics.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was in when I was in Valdez, Alaska, we partnered with MWR. They actually ran our RV park in Valdez, Fort Wainwright out of Fairbanks. They came down, ran the RV park, and then they also did boat rentals and different things. And then during our veterans Memorial Day event, we would invite them out, and we would take them on a cruise in Prince William Sound. And so we'd send about 110 military family members out with our Parks and Rec. So it's a great partnership between the city of Valdez and the MWR.
So that seems kind of rare. I mean, maybe not for a small town, but just to go straight from, I guess, just being a coach to being a director. What was that like? Because there's so many things you got to be good at on day one when you're a director, even of a small town, especially with a small town. You have all the hats pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what kind of helped me grow in my career is being in a small town where I was over the capital improvement plan for a small town community. We were ran the pool, ran special events, ran baseball, softball, basketball. You know, so you get exposed to so much. And so then as I progressed through my career, you know, I only spent a couple of years at that first director slot, and then I went to a town of 5,000 in Burnett, Texas, and was able to get another job as a director of Parks and Rec there, where we built a rec center, sports complex, which was just something you don't see in the town of 5,000. We built a 50,000 square foot recreation center with a junior Olympic pool and 7 ball fields and an RV park, and we really focused on revenue generation during that. And everybody that I hired was new to the profession, and so they were hungry. They had a lot of ideas, and I just turned them loose with those ideas. And so now they've all grown and are directors in Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, the other one's an assistant city manager in Bernie, Texas. And so they were, you know, just with that freedom to grow and do what they needed to do, they were able to become successful in the Parks and Rec career.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that somewhat of it seems like somewhat of an uncommon path to have, allowing new people to the industry to just come in and express their ideas and go for it, rather than, you know, having to have this kind of pedigree coming all the way through, been in it, and then slowly working your way up, versus just welcome to Parks and Rec, here we go.
Yeah, well, and I think what's fun about it is I think I entered into Parks and Rec when the slogan was the benefits are endless, you know, and we really took that philosophy from NRPA and took it to heart, and so we just found all the ways that we could improve and benefit the community that we worked in, and just built relationships with the school district and with all the local nonprofits, and just whatever anybody wanted to do. We were not a city of no. We were trying to figure out how we can get to yes with whatever we needed to do.
Yeah. Not a city of no. And now sometimes I can get you in trouble, you know, because there's so many things. Like the wants are endless, the abilities are constrained financially, and then manpower and stuff. So how did y'all kind of line up the yeses and kind of dial in the nos, or try to give people what they wanted?
Well, I think we tried to balance it with all the different wants and needs, you know, and just look for holes in local programming and things like that. We didn't want compete with any local businesses and stuff like that. So we kind of geared more towards non-traditional programming. We were a small town. The Texas Hill Country is has a lot of music background. So we started the Burnett Country Opry, and so we had fiddling Frenchie Burke and Dale Watson and a lot of different old time country singers. We'd have the Ace and the Hole Band was our house band that played with some local music artists, and they're the George Strait's band. The Ace and the Hole Band is George Strait's band.
Okay.
They live in the Hill Country. That program isn't going anymore, but that was 25 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, it was a big deal back then, though.
Yeah, so we just did different things. We ran all the trends now are really not, programs aren't really run through Parks and Rec as much as they used to, like baseball, softball, and soccer. But we ran all those programs. We got into just different types of dances and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it was a new facility, we kind of advocated, and we were able to get the state games, the Texas flag football tournaments in Burnett, a small town of 5,000. So it's pretty exciting to do those things.
Yeah. Now, for those not familiar with Texas, because it literally is, when they describe it as a whole nother country, there's so many different parts and cultures and stuff. But what part of Texas, when you say the Hill Country, what area of Texas is that in?
So I would say that's probably from Lampasas down to where we're at now, New Braunfels, San Antonio area, and then east and west, Brady and Georgetown, Round Rock. That's kind of the Hill Country.
So that's all kind of San Antonio, Austin, and kind of west of that?
Sure, yeah.
Hill Country? Yeah.
We're the heart of it, the heart of Texas is
right
in the Hill Country.
Right in the center. Man, that area is just exploding between your city, Austin, San Antonio. That's all just booming. Is that affecting y'all right now, I imagine?
Yeah, I mean, they love our parks to death, and so keeping up with maintenance and operations within those parks that have been loved to death, and build a new infrastructure and making sure that we can give some relief on our parks that have been used to death. And
right.
So we've done I guess about $75 million worth of parks project when I was here the first 10 years that I was here, from I guess 2012 to 22. And now we're working on doing a new sports complex, which will open in June, a new Mission Hill Park, which will open in April. And so, just trying to get that new infrastructure in place, but also taking care of what we have. And so it's been a challenge, to keep up with it all. But the citizens and the city council really have supported Parks and Rec for the last 15 years. So
yeah,
fortunate, definitely fortunate.
And so just to give you a chance to describe that term a little bit more, love to death, essentially what you're saying is these parks get used so much for so many years without really any upgrades that at some point you got to do something with it. Is that kind of how you're framing that?
Right, exactly. We and I guess we were able to, pass some impact fees, that help us get some park development funds that will help us do projects within our existing system, as long as they're in a certain quadrant. And so all the development, some of the funds that they put into each individual quadrant throughout the city is allowing us to make upgrades in those individual parks. And so we've laid out a plan, and we're working on developing the plan to make those improvements in all the existing parks that need some infrastructure freshening up. Yes,
it sounds like maybe on day one, because of the military and leadership and cattle background, so you maybe understand the groundskeeping well. But were there any, whether it be finances, fundraising, special events, or project management, was there something that you had to really shore up and become a little bit better at in those early years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was a small town kid that thought that the great big hotel was considered a motel, and so I needed to really work on my financial aspect of all this, and learn about the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and learn how to go out and be willing to ask different groups for funding, whether it be the Lower Colorado River Authority, Guadalupe, I guess just Texas Parks and Wildlife, just anybody that would possibly be able to contribute to any project.
Mm-hmm.
We needed those, and so we created joint advisory boards when I was in Burnett that with people that had interest. We were fortunate in Burnett that Tex Robertson, he's a big UT swim guy, and so he helped us with fundraising for the aquatic side of that particular recreation center that we built there. And then there's a local donor that donated $760,000 for that project, and then and then they all had relationships with the Lower Colorado River Authority, who in turn contributed funds to the rec center as well. And so and then Parks and Wildlife threw into an indoor and an outdoor grant, which was another $1 million. And so it really was a process to get funding for this type of project. And so learning how to make those contacts, how to communicate with those different groups, and not be afraid to ask, because I think there's a lot of funds, especially now in New Braunfels, there's a lot of funds in the area, and people are looking for places to improve the quality of life of a company comes into town, and they're looking for ways to ensure that their employees have opportunities for some quality of life improvements, and rec centers and parks, and all that plays a key role into bringing those companies into your community. So I think that as far as economic development goes, we really help bring those businesses in as well.
Yeah. Now, is there any little bits of wisdom you could maybe give to someone new into Parks and Rec, kind of in that position that you might have been in early to being a director, as far as fundraising, maybe some mistakes you made, you converted to learning opportunities, what not to do, what to do?
Well, I just think you have to, you need to check the background of the businesses that you're working with, and you want to make sure that you're partnering with folks that are reputable companies, and people that have been in business a long time, that have been committed to that industry or the community over the course of years, and be willing to talk to them and understand that it's a give relationship. And so see how you can help them, and see how they can help you, and be willing to, if it means that you need to program a certain way and target some of those things, if they're looking for childcare and different things, see how you can help them as well. So I think that as long as you make it a win-win, it's easier to get funding. You have to make it attractive for them.
Yeah.
Some new businesses that were coming in when we were opening up rec centers, we offered, corporate memberships to the recreation and fitness center, and just different things like that.
Now, what can that mean for a small city, as far as, your tax revenue is pretty much your tax revenue. You don't have a lot of control over that. But if you run it right and are wielding this level of expertise, can you somewhat double your revenue, or double the funding for projects and stuff? Or is this like a maybe 10% increase, or what are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, I think we're actually we're at a 120% cost recovery at our rec center here in New Braunfels, and they've
Wow.
kind of set the standards, and it's definitely a challenge, you know, because it's the first rec center in the community, and as of yesterday, I think we have 19,000 members, active members for the facility, and so balancing the popularity of the facility, making sure that you can keep your existing members happy, you know, throughout the process. I mean, it's increased our revenue significantly, and it's made a world of impact on keeping it fresh, you know. So because we generate revenue, and the revenue that we generate, we kind of target those funds to do capital replacement programs for our fitness equipment, and make sure that we keep up to date with the latest trends in fitness and recreation.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a little short commercial break to promote our facilities maintenance show, which is a morning show, 10:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. That's Eastern time. And then I'd like to promote today, we have our Young Professionals Network show, which is moved to Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. And that's run by our two latest additions to the team, our interns, Aiden Tierney and Michael Moreau from Pennsylvania. And then when we come back, we get to ask Ken a little bit about his experience of doing Parks and Rec in Alaska. So we'll play these two, and then we'll come right back and continue our conversation with Ken.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of parks and recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job, it's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy. On the Daily Parks and Rec Show, we bring you the real stories of tomorrow's professionals, people shaping the future, one idea at a time. Meet the very first DPRS interns to officially host their own segment, Aiden Tierney and Michael Morrow. With curiosity, passion, and a fresh perspective, they're stepping into the spotlight to lead meaningful conversations with today's rising leaders. The Young Professionals Network takes you inside the journeys, challenges, and major wins of young individuals making their mark across industries. From first jobs to bold ventures, every story fuels growth, ambition, and innovation. Each episode brings real conversations, fresh perspectives, and impactful insights created to motivate the next generation of professionals. Whether you're just starting out, exploring new paths, or figuring out your next move. Tune in to the Young Professionals Network every Thursday at 5 p.m. only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Don't miss it, because your next big idea might be one story away.
All right, so let's talk about this Alaska side quest that you had. How did you even get that offer?
Well, growing up in Montana, I was always fascinated with the hunting and fishing in Alaska and Montana, and the only better place to fish and hunt is Alaska, in my opinion. So I just started putting in my applications. My wife and I decided that we were going to retire, and we wanted one last adventure, and so we thought that going to Alaska would be a good adventure. So we got the job. I got the job offer in Valdez, and we decided to do it.
Yeah. What's the population of Valdez?
Depending on what time of the year, it's probably 4,200 in the winter, and probably balloons up to about 6,000 in the summers.
Now, what's the main economy? Is that just a lot of oil industry up there?
Well, the pipeline ends in Valdez, so there's pipeline, and then there's fishing in the summer, spring and summer.
Yeah, the only thing I know about them is the famous oil spill. I think they hit the map on that one. That's one way to get on the map.
Yeah, and during my time up there, we did some ICS training, and that's what the instructor said. Don't ever name a disaster after your city, because then your city is always
known for that.
Known for that. So,
disaster.
So lesson learned.
Yeah. When was that actually? I'm trying to remember. Was that in the 80s or 90s or?
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was 85, 86, I think, or
something like that. I was young. I was in I think grade school back then. But so tell us about Parks and Rec in Alaska. How is it different from maybe in the rest of the states?
Well, I mean, I think that just like in the States, I mean, I think that Alaska is really critical for the population, you know, especially during those winter months. You really want to activate people, because days are shorter, sunlight's not available as much, and so you want to make sure that people are getting the social aspect of interacting with folks however they can. And so, you know, your programming is critical throughout the year. I mean, as a Parks Department in Alaska, we ran the movie theater, which was also our civic and convention center. We had an indoor pool. So it's pretty much the same. The programming is just different. You know, you have fat tire bikes that you have programs with that. You have cross country skiing. We maintained 33 miles of cross country ski trails. Then we had a downhill lift that was a rope tow. So just activating the community throughout that time. We partner with a school district. I mean, I say partner. I mean, the city of Valdez served as kind of a county entity, because they owned the school district, the hospital, and then all city facilities. So so that's kind of it.
So what's it like? Maybe give a little sales pitch for Alaska. What's it like living up there? And what are the attractions? What are the things that you got to kind of get used to?
Well, I think that you have to get used to getting out in weather conditions that aren't ideal. You know, I mean, I think that, but when you go outside, you get scenery drunk, right? So the mountains are beautiful. Prince William Sound is beautiful. There's hundreds of waterfalls throughout the area. I mean, there's ice climbing during the winter months. There's, you know, rock climbing and mountain climbing. There's, I mean, just sightseeing. I mean, my wife and I would go sit on Prince William Sound, and the bears would come down and fish right next to us. And they're not interested in you. They're really interested in fishing, just fat for the winter. So the sales pitch is I would wake up, I'd go to my office. Well, I'd go fish. I would go fish for salmon on Prince William Sound. I'd go back to my office, and then at lunch I would do the same thing, and then after work I would do the same thing. And days get longer, so you can stay out longer. And it's just a great place to explore if you like to hike and walk in the woods and just see different things. Highly recommend it for anybody. It was probably the adventure of a lifetime, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know? We were at the end of the road system there, and so you could drive in one way, and then if you wanted to go out the other way, you had to take a ferry. You had to ride on a boat. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, how long were you there for?
I was there 3 years, and it finally helped me sit down because of some of the idle time that you have, and finish my CPRP. And
Oh, there you go. Finally got certified.
I got that done. Running a project's a little creative over there, because you can start back in April, May, where the snow's melting off, but you're done by Halloween, and so your window for projects is short, and so projects might take a little bit longer, and contractors are a little more difficult to find in those areas. But all in all, you get it done, and you become a little more patient. There's less demand on your daily routine. You're not getting. I don't know that I was there 3 years and didn't get but maybe 3 to 5 calls after 5, and I probably only got 2 or 3 during the day. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit easier life.
Yeah, it seems like that's still somewhat of a very, raw country. Like you feel like you're in the wilderness out there versus, all the hustle and bustle of, where you're at, New Braunfels.
Right, and the standards are different. You talk about ADA and things like that within projects, and those Alaska folks are looking at you like, well, I'm 65 years old. I can walk up that hill.
Yeah.
I've been doing it my whole life. They're a tougher bunch, and it's just trying to get the standards up there and everything. So it is definitely coming, but it's coming at a slower pace. For sure.
Yeah. I bet you that does create quite a tough, rugged people up there that can just handle the harshness of Alaska.
Yeah, I mean we literally got 360 inches of snow a year.
Wow.
And so everybody's shoveling their yards and driveways, and the city does an amazing job with getting all the snow off the streets by 8:30 every morning, and you'll hear them start removing snow at about 3 in the morning, and because it is a small town, they can cover those areas. But it's an operation that is definitely worth seeing.
Yeah, I can't think of it's hard to believe that where I'm at, New Orleans and Valdez are part of the same country, because it's just totally different climate. Like we go in the corner and cry when it threatens to be cold enough to snow, much less actual snow hitting the ground.
Yeah, and they never. I mean, I was there 3 years. They never canceled school. There was no cancellations.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so then 3 years in Alaska, and then what brought you back home? Did you go straight back to Texas, or?
We came back. We spent a couple weeks in Montana working on the ranch, moving cattle and branding, and then we came back to Burnet, Texas, and I wasn't in town 3 days, and I got a call to come and do some consulting in New Braunfels, and ended up becoming the director shortly after that. So,
what kind of consulting did you do?
Just kind of operations and maintenance. Just kind of did some realignment and recommendations on the sports complex. It's been plagued with some financial difficulties, and just made some recommendations on that so that we could open up this June, and so we got it all sodded. It's all ready to go, and so we're looking forward to that opening it up here.
Yeah. All right. So now you had mentioned, you were speaking about this $40 million sports complex. So that you've been a part of this from start to finish, or was this kind of already somewhat in the works, or?
Yeah, the former director, Stacy Dickey, and I, we kind of went through this process with the master plan and conceptual designs, and then Chad and Geronimo kind of carried the torch while we both left New Braunfels. So there was 60 years of experience walking out the door, and so Chad and Geronimo kind of carried the torch and got it going, and and here we are, almost ready to open up, and so it's been a team effort. You know, to get it built was really a team effort between the Economic Development Corporation and a bond package with the city of New Braunfels. So it's just been a labor of love, and it's taken a long time and a lot of people to get this to the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shout out to Geronimo. Back when I was still trying to figure out who we were and how we were going to serve this community, he came on episode 131. We're almost on episode 400. How's he doing?
Well, he seems to be doing good because he's giving me a hard time.
He knew you were coming on the show today?
Apparently he pays attention, and he sent me a text. And
Yeah. And so he's your assistant director, correct?
he is doing playground sales now.
Oh, no way. So he's kind of moved into the private industry.
Yeah. Geronimo and I have worked. We haven't worked together, but we've been in the field for a long time together. So
Okay. When did he make that move? That was this year then, correct?
Yes. Yeah. It was. I'm not sure when, but it was August, I guess.
I'll have to reach out to him, see what he's doing. What company is he working with?
I would say Craftsman, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, any advice as far as, if you're going to take on a big, massive project like this, it's probably the biggest project that New Braunfels has ever had, correct? Or if you had something bigger than that, this sports complex?
No, that is the sports park is the largest. I would just say once you get your momentum, don't back off of it, and make sure you do your due diligence as far as feasibility study and identify a cost recovery goal early on. See what funding is out there, whether it's through land and water conservation funds or economic development corporations or private public partnerships. I mean, I think you really need to look into every possible nook and cranny to identify those funding sources for these projects, because it's not getting any easier to build capital projects within communities. The trend is do more with less, and so it's really hard to get those capital funds, and they're real competitive, because with police, fire, public works, and all those other groups within the municipal government, everybody's trying to get their piece of the pie.
Yeah. All right. So as we're coming kind of towards the end of the show, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about your experience with team building, because you seem to be very accomplished as far as finding leaders, raising them up, and then moving on to become leaders at other departments themselves. So maybe just start with what do you look for in a what you would think would be a good team member?
Well, I think I want somebody that's hungry, that is really motivated and willing to do whatever they need to do to help out the team, right? So too often you go into a situation where someone's called an aquatics coordinator or a recreation coordinator or a maintenance supervisor, superintendent, and they don't want to help. They don't want to help. If it's maintenance, they don't want to help aquatics, and vice versa. And I think that you really have to develop a team that's willing to just be a team. And no matter what you do, you really get paid the same. And so to develop that partnership, that relationship in between that group, I've got folks that their kids call me uncle and all that because we are that close. And not only that, I mean, when we do an event or special event, it's not just the employees working, it's the the husbands and wives coming out and volunteering and helping run those programs as well, and just making it a team effort to where you're building those relationships. And so yeah, I've been fortunate and give them the reins to go out there and do what they want to do. Let them try new events, new special events, programs, and make it their own. I mean, that's the conversation we're having right now with staff, is that there was 60 years of legacy here, and now it's time to make this program their program. And so all the recreation athletic supervisors that are coming in, the aquatic supervisors, they're all pretty new. And so now they need to quit doing the same old thing and look out amongst their peers in neighboring cities or across the country and see if there's some programs out there that they'd like to do or put their spin on. And we as leaders just need to support them in doing that. And
right.
And then we need to make sure that we're getting them educated. We're preparing them for the next jump in their career, because really, I mean, 3 to 5 years, those they should be stair stepping up into the next position that they fit in. And I've always felt that if you're the career, I guess the business now is so different that I don't see as many people staying in that frontline recreation position for very long anymore. Everybody's hungry, wants to get paid more money, and
yeah,
they all want my job. So
one thing I love about this industry is, and I love how you framed it, where you have that conversation kind of on day one that, we want to look to, in 5 years, you need to be moving up. And so this industry is very aggressive with lifting their people up, giving them skill sets, giving them opportunities to add to their certifications and stuff. Whereas a lot of other industries seem to kind of want to hold you back. This industry's like pushing you up.
Right.
Yeah. And so what are some of the learning opportunities that you would give your people so that they could kind of advance themselves?
Yeah, we really, like, from a maintenance standpoint, we want them to get CPSI. We want them to get which is playground safety inspectors. We want them to become applicators. We want them to get their CDLs. We want them to just get some experience with management and leadership through Texas Recreation Parks Association or NRPA. We also want them to get some emergency management training. We deal with floods quite a bit around here, and so we want them to get their ISO certifications and CPR, first aid. From the recreation standpoint, we're pushing them to get, everybody kind of thinks we're just a bunch of athletic folks or rec folks that don't have any education, but everybody's got a degree, and a lot of them are working on their master's degree or have master's degree. And so we want to make sure they're getting their CPRP or CPRE, or we really focus on getting them leadership skills and things like that. Just be supportive however we can in lifting them up to get that training. I think that in New Braunfels, we have really focused on making sure that we have future leaders that can kind of take over our positions, hire people that are smarter than us, and let them know they'll be ready to move into our spot once we leave.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, are y'all active in TRAPS, or you use some of their organization to help certify your people?
Yeah, TRAPS has a leadership academy, and my superintendent is active in that. We just got a recreation supervisor who will be participating in that leadership program this year. My recreation manager, she has every certification under the sun, CPRP, CPO. I know there's a few more acronyms.
Yeah. I noticed Parks and Rec professionals usually have like a string of alphabets, alphabet soup at the end of their name.
That's right. Yeah. So we just want to be supportive with them, and again, we be possible without our city management team and city council, going along with that when we make our request during budget time. So
Yeah. Okay, so we have a little tradition at the end of our show, and my last guest was Annie Frisoli. I totally forgot to ask her what her question was for you, so I'm going to give you the same question I gave her. This question, episode 375, comes from Jay Brimham over in Kerrville, Texas. Not sure if you know him or know where that's from, but his question to you is, what advice do you have for your younger you, and why?
Well, I would have learned how to say no a little bit sooner. Like I said, I said yes to everything, and sometimes I really got myself into a jam by overextending myself, and I probably didn't focus on my family as much as I should have in those first few years in my career. And so I would say that, and as time goes on, I'm a lot better at making sure that I balance that work-life balance.
Yeah, that is hard to balance, because Parks and Rec will, run your gas tank on empty with all the nighttime events, special events. It's like you never get a holiday because you're always, working the holiday while everybody else is celebrating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so what question would you like to leave for my next guest?
Oh, man. I should have watched all the episodes to the end, so I had a question prepared. I might have to send it back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. We even have some silly ones, like if you were a piece of playground equipment, what would it be and why? And we have some serious ones like, what's Parks and Rec mean to you and stuff. And maybe I can ask you that. So what's your why? Why have you chosen to dedicate your life to Parks and Rec, and what do you still find very fulfilling in the work that you do?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that the fact that you have in local government, Parks and Rec, you have an immediate impact on the community, and you can really change the direction of their life. And so when those, whether it's a kid in programs or it's a senior at the rec center, you're making an impact on their life and providing opportunities for them to socialize and get fit or just do something. It's really neat. And I mean, quite frankly, I enjoy going out into a baseball field and just smelling the grass after the operations staff has mowed it, and just see the precision and love that they put into what they do. And so, I mean, that's kind of.
Yeah. You'll really do some important work there on building community and just increasing quality of life for every community in America. So, well, Ken, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, sharing your story. Next time I'm in San Antonio, I spent like every summer of my childhood in San Antonio, so I love the area. It's a gorgeous part of the country if you haven't been, and I'll have to stop by and say hello and grab a cup of coffee next time I'm in town. Sounds
good, Craig. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, you too, Ken. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. All right, bye. All right, so that was another great episode. I love Ken's background, how he came in through the military, cattle rancher, and then went up to director, first job in Parks and Rec as a director. What a great story. And then just has kind of been, adding value to his Parks and Rec departments wherever he went. What a great example going up to Alaska. First person I've ever interviewed in Parks and Rec from Alaska. So if you listen to this and you know anybody as a director in Alaska, love to have him on the show. Had a Park and Rec director from North Dakota for the first time. So we're slowly making our way through every state in America, having someone on the show here. All right, so we got a lot of great stuff coming up here towards the end of the year. We're doing quite a bit of refreshing on all of our brands, our logos. We're launching new shows. Hopefully y'all caught the Tuesday episode with John Prue, the On the Front Line Military Rec show. That's going to be airing every Tuesday starting in January. We had kind of like a little teaser episode this last couple days ago. And then right after this, we have Aaron Locks, who's got an amazing guest coming in for us. His show is every Thursday. It's called the Youth Sports Mastery Show every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And he is the owner and founder of the National Academy of Athletics. They do some great work with Parks and Recreation, really helping them to run some of the programming that they might not be skilled for, whether it's like they want to start flag football, but they don't quite know how. They can hire Aaron. He'll run the whole thing start to finish with all his coaches and everything turnkey. But he'll also do all the after-school care and stuff. So really great company he has. And he's been one of our best supporters of the Daily Parks and Rec Show. He's actually my first host that took on that Thursday show, the Youth Sports Mastery Show. So that'll be coming up here in a few minutes. Don't miss it. And then after that, at 5 p.m. Eastern, Aiden and Michael Moreau will be doing our weekly show for the Young Professionals Network. And they are doing a great job. For those of you that have not found a way to involve college interns in your Parks and Rec department, you really are missing out on the next generation of leaders. And it gives you a great opportunity to just work with young people. But then at the same time, these are potentially your next big hires. Shout out to Henry County, Georgia. A lot of their staff come from their young professionals, their internship programs. So definitely get off the sidelines on starting your internship program, because that can be very valuable to your Parks and Rec department. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the show out. I will see y'all here in a few minutes with the Youth Sports Mastery Show, or rather with Aaron Locks and his guests. We'll see y'all here in a minute. Thanks a lot. Bye.
They say it's Just Rec. Just Rec, where kids learn to try again. Just Rec, where confidence begins. Where teamwork, effort, and fun matter more than trophies. It's not about perfection. It's about participation. It's not just rec. It's where kids learn to love the game and themselves. It's just rec until they learn teamwork for life. It's just rec, but it's everything to them. It's more than rec. It's a movement. It's just rec.
Welcome to DPRS Media Co., the first media company built for the people behind the Parks and Rec community. We don't just cover on Parks and Rec, we elevate it, we amplify it, we honor it. At the heart of everything we do is one mission: to serve the public servants, the professionals who design, maintain, and lead the parks that shape our communities. Under the Daily Parks and Rec Show, we produce 6 powerful platforms. Leadership in Parks and Rec, a spotlight on directors, superintendents, and visionaries shaping the future of public spaces. Facility maintenance, where the boots hit the ground, a deep dive into the systems, crews, and craftsmanship that keep our parks clean, safe, and beautiful. Young Professionals Network, shining a light on the next generation of Parks and Rec. Students, interns, and mentors sharing how we build a legacy together. Youth Sports Mastery, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics. This series is for coaches, parents, and rec leaders working to make youth sports fun, fair, and meaningful again. The Rec Room, hosted by the passionate leaders of Henry County Parks and Rec. This show brings frontline energy and real-life stories from the field. And the weekly Parks and Rec Post, our official newsletter delivering stories, insights, and community wins every week. We are DPRS Media Co., LLC, a media company with a mission to uplift the professionals who serve every community, every park, every day.